Thank you.
Guys, thanks for being here. We're really proud of what our team was able to accomplish. To be able to go 7-3 in the last 10, and to be able to get a bye in the Big Ten tournament just showed a lot of resiliency, leadership, really a lot of heart, a lot of guts to be able to accomplish something like that. It really shows you the culture in which we've created here. Sandy and I have been in constant communication. I mean, she surprised me Sunday night during that award ceremony, and that was just the support that I truly appreciate. And she supported me all year long. We believe, or we are, building a foundation of sustainable success. And we have to build on the experiences, or should I say shared experiences, that we've had over the last couple of years. We believe those experiences are going to be future successes. And we just need to stay the course and keep developing and keep getting these guys better. Because we were 313 out of 353. So we had a young group out there. And they learned. And we became, Mark, you ready for this? The best team we could be by the end of the year.
Is there any sort of timetable, or have decisions been made with respect to Lamar and Mike moving forward?
You know, with Lamar and Mike, we definitely want to take advantage of the opportunity that the NCAA, with these new rules, for them to go out and again, hire an agent, because you're allowed to, and go try to live your dream. We are going to support them in that, and we're going to be with them every step of the way. Matter of fact, I worked Lamar out last Thursday. I want him to know I want this dream for him too, for him and Mike. So we're just going to have to be patient, and we're going to go through this process with them.
And what does that timetable look like? I mean, do you have it in your mind when you'll know whatever is going to happen?
You know, I don't want to determine a date, but there's a lot of, marks out there. You could say calendar marks out there. You know, combine, workouts, draft. So we're going to be very supportive through this time, and whenever that decision comes, we're going to be ready. My staff and I are going to be prepared.
And one last thing on this: how difficult does that make it to look ahead and envision where you might be next year? Because obviously, if those two guys were part of it, it would be good.
Yeah, you know what? You know, I'm a dreamer. I'm the ultimate optimist. I'm going to look at it as if, okay, if they come back, this is what's going to happen. If they don't come back, we need to be prepared if this happens. So that's what my staff and I are working
on. What do you do over the next couple of months? Is there I assume that there are recruiting things that you still have going, basically, just in case scenarios. Is that part of the deal over the next couple of months?
Absolutely. We need to be prepared. We need to be ready for any scenario. So we've never stopped recruiting. Recruiting never stops. I haven't looked in the last hour, but I think it's near 600 in the portal right now. Am I right with that? Does anybody know? Nick, do you know that? But it's up there. So we have to continue to see what's out there, continue to build relationships, continue to recruit.
Just from the standpoint of clarity, are you saying that these guys have hired agents and they are going to go through that process, or if they hire agents, they're going to go through that process?
Now, they're allowed to hire an agent or an advisor to guide them through this journey. So we want to make sure they take advantage of that. So yes, they will. But they're still going to class. They're still eligible. They're doing all the right things.
Do you have a sense of what, how, what's the right way to say this, how, Tony's situation kind of panned out, what that, plays out for Lamar, how much are you helping these guys in terms of information gathering and kind of putting it in front of them and then going, now it's your turn to make.
Yeah, I think we can all learn from a lot of experiences out there over the last few years. I'm going to give them, if they ask me questions, I'm going to make sure I get the right answers and be very truthful and honest. I mean, I think that's the best thing I can do as their head coach. But I also want to be extremely supportive. I'm not trying to sway them right now. I want them 2 feet in to what they're trying to accomplish.
These are, I guess we have to ask kind of hypotheticals either way. But, I mean, can you evaluate Lamar's season and just kind of how he grew and maybe what steps there are left for him between now and that next step in his career in terms of his specific game?
So we're a little bit all over, but I'll try
Yes.
to dial it in here. Hey, second year in a row, we were able to have, we developed our staff and our players. First team All Big Ten. I mean, that's a big deal for Penn State. I asked Rose to check over our last 8 years, and some are duplicates, but we've had 29 All Big Ten players, whether it's first, second, third, Defensive Player of the Year, and all defensive. So we've done some pretty amazing things here as far as player development and getting the right guys. So I'm really proud of the players and the staff. So for Lamar to go first team All Big Ten, that's fantastic. If he comes back, you're looking at a preseason All Player of the Year candidate, which is fantastic. What he needs to work on for the next level is his shooting, and he knows that because he can cover 1 through 5. I think he proved that. He can handle the basketball. So, you know, he knows what he knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses.
And then maybe the same for Mike. Obviously, he had a upward trajectory through the course of the season.
A little bit different, but Mike finished strong. I believe Mike really finished strong. You know, if you go back to Tim Frazier with the Achilles injury, he was really never himself his senior year until the end. In the last 5 or 6 games into the Big Ten tournament, I had a feeling that might happen with Mike, and I felt like the last 5 games I thought he played well, and then I thought he was going to have a terrific game against Minnesota, and he ended up getting in foul trouble, which is unfortunate. But I think he's starting to feel healthy. He's starting to feel better. So as long as he's in that frame of mind, you know. See where it takes them. How they pick and choose.
And you mentioned all the people in the portal, and we saw it with Penn State football. Where are you guys in terms of, I mean, do you feel pretty solid? I mean, to the extent that you can feel solid?
Yeah, I feel as good as I've ever felt in April.
Okay.
This is probably the worst month for any head coach because of, you know, you want your guys to have that opportunity. Now the rules have changed for guys to try the NBA route. And then the transfer situation, it looks like it's a little bit rampant, but you also understand these kids only get one chance, so you never take it personal, but you have to understand you have to keep recruiting. It's never going to stop. So right now, I feel very good about my team. I feel very good about that locker room, but we're going to continue to recruit and build relationships.
And your 3 freshman guards who played a lot, how much of a jump do you see them taking from very good freshman years to, I mean, a lot of times that first off season is really the key one. Where do you see them kind of going to next year?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Rozier. I did statistics with Rose's help of Taylor Battle, Shep Garner, Tim Frazier, Tony Carr, their stats. I wanted to see where Ra was. And Ra shot the ball probably the best at the 3 and equal at the 2. So he did some amazing things. I think if he puts on the weight, we got a big-time, all Big Ten potential type guard who's going to be a lead guard for us and do some amazing things. And then Miles Dredd hit 43, was the most for a freshman, right, in the Big Ten. So we know what Miles can do as far as shooting the basketball. But we want to expand his role, though. I mean, he's really got a high IQ, and he can come off ball screens and make plays. So, you know, with all these experiences for Ra and Miles, I think he's going to really learn, and they'll be that much more prepared for next year. Now, MJ, I thought really finished the season strong. Last 5 games, 44% from 2, 44% from 3, right around 80% or just a hair under from the free throw line. So I am incredibly encouraged with those 3 guys. And now they know what it is, and they've seen it. I mean, that bodes very well for our future.
How do you come up with contingencies when your future can be 2 very different things? I mean, you look at last year, if Tony comes back, and not that anyone's saying they didn't understand why he left, you're probably...
But he got drafted. We haven't had a draft pick since 1999. He got drafted. You can't fault the guy for going after it. right?
No, but from your perspective, you go from the kind of year that you had to, you probably are in that NCAA tournament conversation if he comes back. If Lamar goes, you're in a similar conversation. If he comes back, you're in a similar conversation. It's a pretty wide range of things you've got to deal with right now. You want to be supportive of him, but you've also got to have this contingency of what happens if he goes, what happens if Mike goes. I mean, how do you talk about building the sort of foundation and what you want to do over the next few years. How do you kind of plan for that when right now you don't know what you're planning for?
You have contingency plans, just like you said. You have scenario A, B, and C, and you're ready to go no matter what happens. If he goes, if he stays, same with Mike. That's all we can do right now is to be very patient. And I'm not a patient man, but to be very patient and be supportive. And that's all we can ask for right now. I know that's not the answer you're looking for. I don't really. There's no concrete answer.
Do you pitch him coming back to him? I mean, as much as he wants to go to the NBA and as much as you want to support that and much as he wants to explore all of that, do you go, we would love to have you back, or is that a part of the equation that you
I think
touch?
right after the season, you kind of do that. But right now, I have to support him and say, you're all in. Go all in and go try to live your dream. I think that's the best thing I can do for Lamar Stevens and Mike.
How much do you balance? I mean, obviously you've been optimistic here with us for next season. How much do you balance that? Assuming everybody's back, assuming you have a similar core for next year, how do you balance that optimism with wanting them to be frustrated or disappointed by not achieving the same thing that they did the year before, or just playing in late March, like having that type of run?
I will say this: we were 50 in the net. Our strength of schedule was top 5 all year. We had 17, I'll say, games not in the Bryce Jordan Center. I think we're battle tested. My goal right now is to get them better. And when I focus on getting them better, I'm a better coach. They're better players. They play with better confidence. When we give them an end-all to be-all, that doesn't help anybody out. And now you're going to play differently, and the shots aren't going to fall, and they're not going to play carefree. So I want them to play with the ultimate confidence. We have to build up their habits. We had a very good defensive team for most of the year. I think we were top 10, then top 15. I think we ended in the low 20s there in Ken Pom. So we did do some good things. Now we have to build off a lot of those things. And again, those experiences that we were going to have last year, we got to bring them into the future here.
And this might be too broad, but if you could pick out, and obviously, I mean, it seems like the season kind of worked itself out in segments in terms of things that troubled you or prevented you from winning in the beginning of the season versus the middle versus the end. What would those things be? What are the next steps for this team as a whole? Like, what are the areas or the specific things that you think they need to improve on?
Well, I think freshmen become sophomores, sophomores become juniors, and juniors become seniors. I think we had to get older. And we had to get
I mean,
wiser.
decision making, like
we turn the ball over sometimes. Yeah, there's no doubt. But I think with what we went through and those type of experiences, those close losses that we had, and there's 9 of them, I think. I mean, we're going to learn from that. They're going to learn from that, and they're only going to be better because you know why? They're going to have a full spring, a full summer of in the weight room. We're number 7 ranked player development staff in the country. So if they buy in and we collaborate, because that's what I do. I've met with every player. We collaborated. What do you think you need to work on? What do I think you need to work on? And then we break it down, and then we watch video. As long as we all buy into this mission, we can only get better. Success is in our grasp.
Obviously, there's a lot of what we're talking about today is about Mike and Lamar coming back. But looking ahead to next season, about the players you're going to add, Stephanie specifically and Isaiah Brockington coming in the fold. How excited are you for those two guys and what they could, maybe the depth that they could add to the front courts?
Yeah, Isaiah gives us something that I don't know if we truly had last year. Somebody who can really score in a short shot clock, maybe off the bounce, get his own shot when we need him to. And he's incredibly athletic, even more athletic than Josh, which is kind of frightening to even say, watching him work out and how he's progressed all season long. So I look forward to his speed. We're going to be incredibly, again, if everybody comes back, we're going to have incredible athleticism and speed. It's going to be really fun to watch. Over the last couple of years, our offense Tony's year, the 26-win season, was the best we've ever had, and last year was still over 70. So we're going to have some exciting guys playing like Isaiah, and then Seth it can play multiple positions, and he can really shoot the ball, and he's got a Big Ten ready body. He's got Lamar's body when Lamar was a freshman, and he can really shoot the basketball. So we got some really talented players coming in, along with Patrick Kelly, who I was just went down to see. He's every bit of 6'9" now, and shooting really well and very aggressive. And then we're excited about Abdu. Abdu's 6'9", athletic, very bouncy, quick second jump, shot blocker, runs the floor like a gazelle. So, I mean, it's really coming in. Things are really starting to move in the right direction for us. Again, if it all works out.
How much do you keep Seth in the loop about everything that's going on, or do you just kind of let him go through the transition period? When is he coming here? Kind of how do you communicate with him right now?
I talk to him at least once a week. I think that's really important to do right now. He's got a all-star game coming up here this weekend. He graduates middle to late June, and then we'll have him come up right after that for summer session too. So he knows the plan. Again, it's all about communication.
And when you look at the season as a whole, you guys obviously played a lot of 2-3 possession games. When you kind of break it down, what's the ratio between the Lamar gets hacked and nobody says anything, I
knew he was going to bring this up.
No, but
I knew he was going to bring up the officials.
Can you still get fined after this?
No,
Yeah.
I'm done. Yes,
Yeah.
you can. Yes, you can.
Well,
And my sport administrator's back there, so I'm not saying.
All right, so I mean, how many of those games do you chalk up to bad luck, things that aren't in your control? How many of them do you go, maybe not an actual number, you go like, we could have done things better, we could have executed better, I could have coached better? There's so many of those. You look at how many teams that you guys played that went far in the tournament, it's not like,
We're the same team that beat Maryland, but we were up 29, whatever it was. We're the same team that beat Nebraska, whatever that score was. We're the same team that was up against Michigan, 17 points. Well, that's the potential of this group. Now, when we get to those close games, I think we had to learn how to finish. We had to learn what it took to win in the Big Ten. And everybody was going through new. Lamar was the finisher. He had to be the closer. That was new for him. He always relied on Tony for the last 6 years. So with each passing game, I think we grew. We got a little bit better. Don't get me wrong. We had to take care of the ball. There was missed free throws. There was missed defensive assignments. I could have done a better job in certain situations. So we put that all together this offseason. You go back, you look at all that, you write it down, and you know what you have to focus on moving forward.
does that make that last game harder than usual to have it kind of go the way that it did?
It absolutely does. That game still is, I'm still mad at that game, to be truthful. I'm still upset about it. Although I thought we executed everything we wanted to offensively, I thought we made mistakes defensively, which we weren't doing during the 7-3 stretch. Coffey likes to go left, Dupree likes to go left. We let them go left. We let them get to their spots. And again, we shortened the bench. Those guys played a lot of minutes. And you need to be able to adjust and take them out of rhythm, and we didn't do a great job of that. So that's where my focus is going to be. Is it going to be the big kid ripping Lamar's arm off? No. Is it going to be a turnover here or a missed free throw there? No. It's really going to be what didn't we do to execute to be able to win this game? Because we had every chance to win that game. We're up 2 with the ball, and I felt like we got good shots, but we didn't get it done on the other end, and that's been our foundation. That's been our identity.
Given some of the crazy things that happened to you guys at the end of games, what was your perspective on the national semifinal when everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is the craziest call I've ever seen"?
So,
you actually saw some.
I was there.
Right.
And a little backstory: I recruited Samir Doherty, so I know Samir very well. He's actually best friends with Mike Watkins. I was in disbelief on that play. My angle for the double dribble, I didn't really, but I just looked around. I thought, it happened so fast. You know what I mean? It was like bang. So I can understand why they may have missed that call. You know, it was such an awkward play. But when I saw the play, I was like, it was one of those. Wow, tough call. But I think the right call. The right call. And I felt bad for Samir because I know him. But you know what? If you look at Virginia and what they did, Purdue, they had a little bit of luck on their side. A little bit of luck and obviously talent. Guy hitting 3 free throws in that moment, give that kid a ton of credit.
And you had mentioned Seth showing up second summer semester. Is everybody showing up that second summer semester, or is anybody showing up early?
We'll have some guys show up early, Patrick Kelly for sure, but Seth and Abdu graduate a little bit later, so they'll come
Okay.
in summer session too. But we'll have our whole team here summer session too.